This is the next mine in the historic ordnance series. What you are looking at is a Czech manufactured anti-tank mine. Now, the way they designate their mines can be kind of confusing, so I wrote it out. This is a PT-MI-U low metallic anti-tank mine. It is plastic cased. It is easily confused for the Yugoslavian TMRP-6, one that I did a few videos ago. The reason it gets confused between those two models, you see this ribbed cover here going around underneath the pressure fuse. Those ribs, people get confused on them. You know, is it the Czech version? Is it the Yugoslav? The Yugoslav one, if you remember from the pictures, the ribs are a lot more pronounced. Now, this mine appears to have entered service around 1987. That's what it looks like on Czech websites. The only countries that have this in service right now that I'm aware of is the Czech and Slovak republics. This mine is being encountered in Ukraine. Now, according to the mining sources, they're saying it's the Russians that are using them. But since the Czech Republic and the Slovak republics are part of NATO, it's more than likely these mines were shipped to the Ukrainians. And they're the ones that have been using them. And Russian forces have probably captured some, which they are using against their former owners, so to speak. Now, the mine is OD green. Markings on it are black, which are on the side, which you're not seeing right now. Right here is a folding carrying handle, which flips up. Right here on the bottom of the pressure plate, you see this black ring. That's a rubber seal. That's part of a bellows. When you arm the mine, air is released from those bellows. Pressure plate goes down and gets into the arming position, allowing the mine to be activated. The fuse for this mine is integral to the mine. It's already inside there. It cannot be activated as long as this bellows is full of air. It moves the striker and everything away from the detonator. Now, some of the technicals on this. Diameter is 12.5 inches. The height is 4 3/4 inches. Weight 20 3/4 pounds, of which the explosive content is 15 2/3 pounds. It is a 50-50 mix of TNT and hexogen. Now, the pressure plate requires a force of around 225 pounds to set the fuse off. This can be employed in a tilt rod mode, and from what I've seen on the Czech sources, they're saying it takes around 4.5 pounds to move the tilt rod enough to set off the fuse. This mine can be laid either manually by hand, or it can be in place by a mechanical mine layer or a mine laying trailer. The Czechs intended for this to primarily be put out with that mechanical or mine laying trailer means. Manual means you putting it out with your hands on the ground is actually, according to Czech doctrine, the emergency way to do it, only doing it because you have to. Temp range that these can be employed is negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit to around 104 degrees Fahrenheit. More than likely, like with other mines, it's probably the plastic in the casing. It probably degrades when it gets too cold. Like I've said before with some of the other mines like the TM-Alpha-5, TMRP-6, you get below 20 degrees below zero, plastic can get kind of brittle and break. And I'm guessing the top range of 104 degrees, that primarily has to do with the TNT filler. It might start breaking down at that point. These mines, show this picture here. This is the tilt rod assembly that is employed with the mine. over here, you see the packing crates. These are packed 2 mines to a crate, and inside that crate, depending on year of production, you'll find 2 tilt rods, which my guess is probably up in here in this part of the crate. It's probably attached up in there. Reportedly, some of the crates were manufactured with the tilt rod assembly being separate from the mine, and if you're going to use the tilt rod, make sure the crate has one. If it doesn't, you have to get the crate that has the tilt rods, pull out what you need, include them with the mines. Now, to put this mine into operation for pressure mode, first thing you're going to do, you're going to inspect the mine. You're going to inspect the plastic, make sure it's not degraded, it's not cracked. You're also going to make sure to pay a lot of attention to this rubber ring around here. Make sure it is not damaged. If it is damaged, the mine is inoperable. You're supposed to destroy it. And the Czech military says destroy it by demolitions. Blow them up. If the mine passes inspection, it gets sent out to the location where it's going to be emplaced. Once it's there, prep the area. If you're going to bury it in the ground, the soil will come up to roughly about here for the depth of the hole. If you're surface laying, you clear away vegetation that you can put the mine down into vegetation to hide it. Once you got the spot prepped, you're going to put the mine in the hole. Now up here on top of the pressure plate, you can barely see it, there's a transport safety clip right here. When you're ready to arm the mine, you remove that clip, you pull it out, and then right here in the center there's a little button. Take your thumb, you press it down till it locks in place. Similar to a Russian TM62 mic with the clockwork fuse. At that point, it's going to start the internal arming process. The air will slowly get pushed out of these bellows here. Pressure plate will start sinking down into place, and everything internally starts to move into alignment to allow the detonator to go off. It takes between 1 to 10 minutes for this mine to arm itself. So after you push down the arming button, that's when you go through, finish the camouflage, move out of the area. Now I'm placing it in tilt rod mode. Now I'm placing this mine in tilt rod mode. Similar steps. Go through, inspect the mine, inspect the tilt rod section, make sure everything's serviceable, same criteria as putting it in pressure for the mine itself. Move to the area where the mine is going to be emplaced. If you're going to bury it, you're going to bury it up to about the top of the pressure plate. That's how deep the hole is going to be. If you're going to hide it in vegetation, make sure you put it in a location it's not going to be seen very easily. Put the mine in. At that point, from the top of the pressure plate, you didn't see it in the other picture because it wasn't on there, there's a little transport plug that's supposed to be on top of the arming button. You will remove that transport plug, and it sounds like it's just a little rubber cap that just pops in and out. Remove that cap. You will then take your tilt rod assembly and you're going to remove the protective cap from the bottom of the tilt rod assembly. You unscrew it. Take your tilt rod, screw it into the hole on the arming button, which is right here. Screw the tilt rod assembly in till it's hand tight. In order to arm the mine, once again, remove the transport safety pin, and in order to arm it, you will take your hand around the bottom of the tilt rod assembly here, and you will push it down as far as it will go till it locks into place. At that point, the arming process begins internally on the fuse, 1 to 10 minutes. 1 minute in warmer weather, 10 minutes when it's really cold. Go through then, camouflage the mine, move on to the next one. Now, disarming procedures. First, check around the location where the mine is for protective mines and booby traps. If you come across any, neutralize them, disarm them, destroy them. Or at least mark them, prep them for destruction if you're going to blow the mine also. Just put them together on a daisy chain, set them off at the same time. After you've cleared around the area where the mine is, you're going to locate the mine itself. You're then going to check around the mine for anti-handling devices. I found no information that there is a secondary fuse well on this. But, as we know with other plastic mines, it would not be that hard for someone to go through, put a hole in the side or underneath, and attach a booby trap fuse to it. If you locate an anti-handling device on the mine must be destroyed in place. Do not attempt to disarm. If you find no anti-handling devices, you are going to have to move the arming button back into the safe position. And how you do that is you got the transport safety pin is right here. This part of it right here, what looks like a handle at the end of the fork, you take that section, you screw it into the threads on the arming button. You then take that and you pull up on the arming button until it's up in the upmost position. Hold that there, unscrew the pin, and put the safety pin back into place. Now, if it's put in with tilt rod, what you do there, you grab the bottom of the tilt rod section, the really thick section, pull that up until the arming button's up into the safe position, slip the transport safety pin back in. Now, if there is a tilt rod on there, that's the point where you're going to remove the tilt rod, and then you're going to screw the protective cap back onto the bottom of the tilt rod. Inside that tilt rod is kind of a striker assembly from what I was seeing in the pictures. When the tilt rod goes off, it fires a striker down in through this hole on the arming button, straight down into the detonator to set it off. And they keep that protected with a protective cap when in storage and being transported. Now that the mine's been safe, you're going to attach a rope to the carrying handle. You're going to pull it out of position just in case there's an anti-handling device that you missed. Give it a few minutes just in case. Then go up there, disconnect the rope, take the mine, tilt rod assembly, and turn them in. Now there is a note, mines that have been removed from the minefield, it takes 2 hours after the arming button has been reset for those bellows to refill with air. Do not attempt to rearm it and use it right away. It has to go that 2 hours, the full 2 hours, before these mines can be used again. Now there is a note in here also for when you're emplacing the mines. I forgot to mention this. If when you're emplacing the mine you accidentally push the arming button too soon, you push it prematurely, the doctrine from the Czech military is to immediately reset the arming button, slip the transport safety pin back in. If you do it right away, you're still good to go. You can still put that mine in where you need it. You don't have to wait the 2 hours reportedly. Now, if when you're attempting to remove the mine from the ground, You find that the top of the mine casing, the plastic is seriously degraded. You find that the rubber is broken. There's cracks. They say destroy in place, do not continue with removal or neutralizing the mine. Reportedly, there is a PTMI-UM. The UM reportedly does come with a separate electronic fuse, which can be screwed to the top, it looks like. And that electronic fuse has it still has the arming feature of 1 to 10 minutes, but it also has a self-neutralizing feature that you can set it for so many hours. There's like 4 settings I think I read on there. Set it to the correct setting. After that time limit is reached, it will detonate the mine in place. Reportedly. I couldn't find too much information on that because that is a newer feature and reportedly is still classified. So I don't have enough information on that I can give you the procedure for employing that with this mine. But there you go. A Czech anti-tank mine, the PTMI-U, entered service while the Czech Republic was still part of Czechoslovakia, entered at the end of the Cold War. It's serving with the Czech and Slovak militaries in NATO service now. Reportedly has been shipped off to Ukraine. It is available for import by countries that pass the checks for the Czech government. So these mines are out there. Since they were sent to Ukraine, you can guarantee some of them, or at least probably a very good percentage of them, have ended up on the international arms black market. So it's one to look for. It's a pretty simple mine. Service life, if I had to guess, goes similar to what we've seen with other plastic mines. Figure about 6 months in the field before they start to degrade. In storage, I'm going to say probably at least 20 years in storage because of the TNT filler. Reportedly, when they are in storage, there is not much that can be done to restore them. So if there is any type of degradation, the mines are supposed to be pulled out of the warehouse and destroyed. They're not supposed to be refurbished in any way. The only thing that the storage facility is actually allowed to do, from what I've seen on Czech websites, all they're allowed to do is repaint the markings on the sides of the mine, and that's it. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember SA Arms.